Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on
Connecting
this
the
program are
community
not
through-
necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Ask Elaine, better ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, better ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, better ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, better ask Elaine.
Boy, seems like this music goes on and on and on,
That's
but we
good
have to
music.
have our
That's good
theme.
music.
Yeah, we want to welcome you to Ask Elaine. You know what time it is. It's 3 p.m. and we're here at historic WDDO. And as always, we've got some wonderful guests. And these last few weeks, I've just seen all of these folks who come on the radio. They they have come on with a vengeance. These, I
First, I
mean,
saw him on that
and,
Elaine show.
oh, listen, after they come on Ask Elaine, then they say, oh my, I need to have a show. And we want to welcome them. We're
Yeah.
just glad
Yeah.
that they get the fever when they come
Yeah.
on here because
They
they
get the
realize
fever.
this is a wonderful place to have
It is.
something to say.
Yes.
And we want to thank the folks here who brought this DDO back to life.
Oh, yeah.
And we thank
Historical.
all of you who are there,
Yes.
who have tuned in, whether you're on AM, whether you're on FM, whether you're on the Glory Live, whatever the medium, we just welcome you here. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you. And I hope you know that I am still your voice. I might not say everything that I used to say, but as you get older, you learn that sometimes you can hold your tongue
Okay.
and get the same things,
Done.
even
Right.
more
Done. Yeah.
things done, because people understand that you will open your mouth and you will follow through on stuff. And there's some people who need to learn that.
Oh, yes.
That as you get older, you learn some lessons, and everything doesn't have to be a fight.
Everything.
If you build experience, if you build a reputation of being willing to work on behalf of something, and you have a track record of getting some things done, you don't have to fight as much as you used to. So I'm at that time in my life where I don't have anything to prove. I'm not going to be trying to prove or
I
defend
hear you.
with folks. And so if people don't realize that I'll fight for them, that I'm there for
If
them,
they don't know me
then
by
bump
now.
them out, later for that.
Yes.
Later for that. So I just want to say that little thing because there's some folks that you have to just say some stuff to sometimes. So anyway, welcome again to Ask Elaine. We have two wonderful guests in the studio with us today. We have none other than Pastor Lisa Watson, who is going to talk with us today about all of these different events that she, along with the Evangelical Ministers Alliance, always have been planning. The last several years with COVID,
Yeah.
they've had a real serious, we've all had to be inside.
Yeah.
And there haven't been opportunities to get everything done that we needed to or traditionally have been doing. But she's back to tell us that 2023,
It's
we're
on.
going to be back.
It's
So we're
on.
going to talk with her in just a little bit about the 2023 Martin Luther King activity sponsored by the Evangelical Ministers Alliance. She's a member of the Martin Luther King board.
Proud member.
And so she proudly serves there. We're just so happy to have her. And our other special guest is none other, you know, I've got early Alzheimer's.
Oh, my goodness.
Say
Natalie
hi.
Allen. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Natalie
Mr.
Allen.
Engineer, did I mess it up? Did I do it? Oh, okay. All right. Miss Natalie Allen. And she is our new coordinator with the recreation programmer
Yeah.
with Parks and Recreation for Macon Bibb County. And we're just so happy to have her. She has taken over the planning and implementation
Doing a great
of
job.
the oratorical contest
Doing a great job.
for this year. And she's going to be making an appeal to our middle schoolers and our high schoolers to come on, write something on a particular topic, enter it into the oratorical contest, and you can receive some cash prizes.
Some money.
Some cash
Yes.
prizes for your talent and your presentation. So we know you're going to stay with us and listen to these great folks. And we want to welcome Ricky Crawford, who is with
Ricky.
us. Hello, Ricky. Dio Oliver, who is one of the ones
You got
who
bit,
has a
didn't
show.
you?
I listened to some
was
of it
good. I saw
yesterday.
it.
It was very good. It was talking about
I saw
mental
it.
health, and that is a topic that is just, it's always
I've been knowing
always
Dee Oliver a
appropriate.
long time.
And so he's probably going to be increasing the length of his. He's probably not going to have enough time. Just like an hour is usually not enough
It was a good
for
show.
us. He's probably going to end up increasing it. And also, Jeanette Goff, good afternoon to you. Randy, the other part of the Ricky Randy crew. Randy is here. Hello to you. Overseer Mabel Randall, who has a show on Tuesday at 3.
Pastor Randall.
And she does an absolutely wonderful
The
show.
Call.
And the call,
Yeah.
that's right. And she encourages everybody to be a first class citizen.
Yes.
And a first class Christian.
Mhm.
You know,
That's
what you
right.
say, do.
Do it.
So
Right.
I'm a believer in that. So we're glad to have her, as well as everybody who's listening on AM, those who are listening on FM. Maria Bryant with the
Yeah.
NAACP says,
Hello,
good
Maria.
afternoon. We're always glad to have her. And she has been on here as a special guest. She's presented so much information on voting and why it's important and how to do it and all of that. And she's one of the ones responsible for the turnout that we had.
She's a worker bee.
I found out that out of the larger tier, the top tier counties that make a Bibb County, I was kind of fussing.
Okay.
Because we had a 46% turnout. I know we can do better than that.
We can do better.
Democrats turned out,
We did.
which was wonderful. But then in my being disappointed, I looked and I found out that we were in the upper level as far as the larger cities. So we salute Macon Bibb County for turning out.
Yeah.
And the next time around, we're going to be voting in the presidential preference, which is probably going to be February of 2024. And then there'll be some other things coming during that time. And then in November, we will have that final big presidential push.
Mhm.
And Joe Biden, Uncle
Uncle Joe
Joe
getting it
is a
done.
dragon
He getting
slayer.
it done.
I mean, he's
He
had
getting it
COVID. He's got
done.
a war going on.
He
Old
getting it
crazy
done.
Putin invaded Ukraine. They're whooping his butt too.
Yeah.
They're pushing him back
They
on
pushed him all the way back.
into Russia, taking our folks hostage, and
Got him
then
home.
we're gonna talk a little bit about that
Oh,
too. And on top of all of the stuff that he's got to deal with, and those crazy Republicans who will not leave him alone, who vote no on everything, your Social Security, they wanna have to reauthorize your Social Security either every year or every 5 years. Y'all want that? Y'all want the Republicans to do
Crazy.
that? To somebody to decide
Crazy.
that whether you get your Social Security every year or every 5 years. I mean,
Crazy.
what's with that? But Uncle Joe to the rescue. Anyway, enough about Uncle Joe. That's another
We
show.
love
We're
Uncle
gonna
Joe.
come back. Uncle Joe is an old
He may
dragon
be
slayer.
slow, but
He's
he
an OG
getting it done.
child. He might trip up the steps. He might trip going up that plane. I don't care.
Pick Uncle Joe.
I don't care if they have to wheel him in a what you call a wheelchair, or they have to have somebody to pick him up
Yeah, he
and
getting it done.
take him. I don't
He
care.
is
That
getting it
brain is
done.
working. That brain. I wrote on Facebook, I would prefer experience and commitment to younger age any day.
Oh yes.
Because there's some things that are dependable.
We need wisdom. We
It's
need
dependable,
experience.
like old leather.
Oh, take a licking and
Hey,
keep right on.
keeps right on.
Yeah.
So anyway, we want to welcome Dr. Mary Butler.
Whoop,
She
whoop.
says good afternoon to everybody.
Co-pastor.
She's your
Good afternoon.
co-pastor. Sharon Wolfock, welcome.
Yeah.
Good afternoon to you.
Sharon.
We just want to thank all
That's
of
my
you for
classmate.
tuning in to Ask Elaine. And we just happen to know that you're listening to your talk and
That's my sister
information.
on there talking
show.
about Uncle Joe getting it
And
done.
Monica Watson. Uncle Joe is getting it done. I don't care. You can say whatever. What do we say? He can fall up the steps, down the steps. He could trip, cough, stutter as much as he wants to, as long as he's getting it done. And we have received we've been one of the recipients of his good works and the other Democrats to the tune of $77 million in addition to what we would normally get that's coming to this community. That's why you haven't had a tax increase, because we've gotten all that money in. Plus, school board has gotten $101 million additional dollars. $101 million additional. So if you go to the school and your child's not getting, you demand that your child get, because an additional $101 million of your tax money came back here for use with our children. So anyway, enough about
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe is my hero.
Mine too.
And brought Brittany home.
Mine
we
too.
said we weren't going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. Brought Brittany home.
Yes,
Do you see, ladies? These folks are so narrow-minded, mean-spirited until they have a problem with Brittany Griner. It's race, y'all.
Oh, we know it.
It's about her being a black female.
Oh, yes.
And she came home, and the Republicans are trying to make an issue out of it to stir up the other racists who wanted the white man brought home. Well, Russia said it's either Brittany swapping for boot or it's nothing.
Yes.
So what would you do?
We got a big
I would have brought, wouldn't you have brought Brittany
yes,
on home?
Absolutely.
And Brittany has a lot. Brittany is strong, but Brittany has a lot to deal with. You spend 10 months in a place where nobody knows really what's going on with you. You could just drop out of sight, disappear. So, I mean, what would you have Uncle Joe to do?
My Lord.
You tell me. It's your child.
Yeah.
Brittany's your child. and you have a choice of bringing her home or bringing nobody home. You're going to stand up there like a fool and say, oh, well, no. We
Oh, I'm glad he
Yeah.
made the decision
I
he
That's
did.
am
right.
too. I am too.
And I
And
know
I
her
wish
family
her
is.
only the
Absolutely.
best.
Yes, the relief.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I'll bet you, I will bet you
Mhm.
very soon, Uncle Joe is going to work his magic
And
again.
he gonna get that other
And he's going to get Paul Whalen.
believe
You
it.
watch
I
it. Watch
believe
it. And we're
I
going to come
believe
on
that.
this show and we're going to tell you. We said it back
Yeah, I
December.
believe
What
that.
is it? The
Mhm.
14th?
We said
Yep.
before
What is-
Christmas.
we're going to come back and we're going to tell you and say, well, we
Uncle
told
Joe
you,
got
Uncle
it
Joe,
done.
Uncle Joe.
Mhm.
Anybody that they put up against him, if it's Trump, that's a win for Uncle Joe.
All right.
Because Trump is crazy.
Yes, he is.
Trump is going to jail, y'all.
And soon,
Just
I
like
hope.
we would have if we had done anything that he has done. You're going to take the private people's papers, top secret stuff to your house.
Take them home.
And you don't even
Classified.
secure it with your nutty behind. You take them and you have them downstairs where folks just walking all through and everything.
Yeah, classified.
What kind of, we would be under the jail.
Under the
Nobody
jail.
would know where we
We'd
were.
already be, as he said, locked
Lord
up.
have
Exactly.
mercy. Yes, we would. Yes. And then you push folks to commit an insurrection to
Mhm.
try and
Mhm.
stop the other person from
I couldn't
taking
believe that.
office.
I couldn't believe
And
that.
you end up with some folks
You
dead
know, that day when
as a
that
result
happened
of,
in
oh
America, I
my.
could not believe it.
It was
I
like
said,
you were
in my
in a
lifetime,
time
we
warp.
never heard of a
Yes.
coup in America.
I know. I know.
I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Well,
And
and
under
one of
his
the things we've got to realize is if Trump had been reelected, there's no telling where we
what
would
would have
be.
happened in
There's
America? I
no
believe that.
telling. No
Under
telling.
him, there's no telling what.
Yeah.
And
would
then DeSantis, they're talking about him. If he runs, Uncle Joe's gonna whip him
Oh,
too,
yes.
because he is a nut. He's a bigger nut than Trump, and he's a little bit smarter.
Oh yeah.
He's a little bit smarter, so he'd
little
be
bit
able
more
to do
articulate.
even more.
Yes.
Right, a little bit more articulate. And he probably wouldn't tell us to drink bleach, to get rid of. He'd probably just tell us go jump in the ocean.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
He's the one who came up with the scheme of arresting those folks who thought they could vote, had been given permission to vote,
Uh-huh.
and then he had them arrested to
Wow.
make political points. Those folks have
Mhm.
since had those charges dismissed.
Good.
As a matter of
Good.
fact, and
Good.
but
for them.
there's a chilling effect on people when you're arrested
Oh,
on voter
of course.
irregularities.
Of
You
course.
don't want to go down that road
That's
again,
right.
so
Of
you're
course.
fearful. And think of how many others
Yeah.
are intimidated by
They
that
use
whole
fear tactics
process.
all the
That's
time.
what it's about. Y'all don't let anybody scare you
Yeah,
out of
Republicans do
voting.
that all the time.
You weren't scared this past time, so
Don't be scared.
don't be scared. Now, y'all are saying she just on there talking. She just talking. But we have some stuff we have to get out
have to say it.
sometimes.
You
We have to
say
get
it.
some stuff. Congratulations to Reverend Dr. Raphael Warnock
Woo-hoo!
on his win. Y'all were a part. Y'all making Bibb County were a big part
Yes,
of
pushed him over the
his
top.
victory. All of our votes went into the pot to help
Yes.
to carry him over.
Yes.
What did he end up with? 52%
Yeah,
Yes,
I
he
think
did.
of
he
the
did.
vote.
Mhm.
Yes.
Close to 52.
And did Herschel stay the night? He went on back to Texas that same night. He couldn't wait to get off that stage. He
Some
didn't
say
talk
flying
about
back to
werewolves or
Texas. I
coyotes
say he
or
can
whatever.
walk back to Texas as long as he go
probably,
away from
he
Georgia.
probably said, "Yeah, if y'all don't have my plane ready, I'll
I
just
don't
start
care if
walking."
He just walk back. As long as he go.
Oh, but you know what? He made the best speech that he's ever made. That night.
I think it sounded good to us because he was leaving.
I think
Oh,
I
it
think
did.
that's
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah. Now get off the get off the stage and drive your little car. Your little badge on down the road.
Yeah.
Lord, we dodged a bullet.
A big
We
one.
dodged a bullet. But let me tell you, he got 1.7 million votes.
Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad?
Dr. Warnock got what, 1.9 million?
What does that say about
That
us?
that says something. That
Yes,
there's
it
some
does.
folks who they don't care who it is
That's it.
that runs against somebody who's got some good sense.
That's it.
They don't
That's
care
it.
who it is. They're going to vote for them. So they're voting against you.
Yeah.
1.7 million folks.
Yeah.
You better get up every time there is an election
time.
and go vote.
And
Every
vote.
time.
Yes.
Every time. Monica Watson,
He was leaving.
back again. Dr. Butler, and all of these folks. Y'all keep sharing in the chat. Sharon Woolfolk is on.
That's my
Yes, the running
classmate.
back ran
Said,
right
"Little
back to Texas quickly. I like this. This is going to be a fun show. Let me get to my guests.
You're so
Our
right,
guests,
Terry.
thank you all so much for tuning in. As we said, for those of you who've just joined us, this is Ask Elaine. It's 3 o'clock on Wednesday, and we want to welcome you all to the show, whether you've tuned in on AM, FM, or the Glory Live, whatever medium you are using, we welcome you. And we thank all of those folks who are on live with us, who are sharing in the chat. And we're going to try, as you post comments or questions in the chat, we are going to try and share those for those folks who are listening on AM or FM. Y'all better come on over to Facebook Live so you can see us and be more engaged with it.
Just see how cute we are.
Oh yeah, and her with that Santa hat, and this young lady over here, she's kind of trying to get used to the two of us. We're just only half gone, you know. Anyway, but welcome everybody. Now, our two guests today are none other than Pastor Lisa M. Watson, who's going to talk about the Martin Luther King events that the Evangelical Ministers Alliance has planned. But first, we're going to go to Miss Natalie Allen, and I wanted to call her something else. I gave her a new name. I gave her a new name, but we are so happy to have her here, and we're so happy.
I'm happy to be here.
So, if you would tell us just a little bit about the different things that are within your job description with Parks and Rec, and then tell us about the oratorical contest and let people know how they can enter.
Yes, absolutely. Once again, my name is Natalie Allen. I'm on the Recreation Programmer for Macon-Bibb County Parks and Recreation Department. My job duty is to program for the city. Usually a lot of it is basically a program according to the call of what people need. So it's whether it's enrichment programs, academic programs, STEM programs, even just family entertainment, I do it. I am the face of the company along with my assistant director, Mr. Ahmad Burnett, and my director, Mr. Robert Walker. And what we do is we come together to put together programs that help change the city. Currently, we are trying to reach out to our youth here in Macon-Bibb County. I know there is a lot of shortage of teens that are not visiting our rec centers. And the reason why is because there's not a lot of program planning for them. So our goal currently in the 2023 year is to make sure we do some program planning to include all ages.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, we have our recreation sports, we have our, fitness activities that we do for our adults. But a lot of times people have the stigma that recreation is just about sports and about fitness, and it's really not. Recreation centers are really the pillars in the community. You can come to our rec centers for resources, food, information, anything that you're in need of. Your rec center should be able to provide that. So I suggest that if you have one in your community, go by and visit. You just never know what they'll have there for you.
How could where could they go and find information on what's being offered at all the different centers?
Yes, absolutely. We have our regular website. It's www.maconbibb.us/recreation. In our civic rec system, we have a lot of activities that you can go through. Youth football, we have summer basketball, fitness, aerobics. We have all types of activities on our civic rec website, and you'll be able to actually go on there and register for these activities. And a lot of times they're free. We don't want to limit our programs to just something that people have to pay for often. We want to make sure that as much as we can, we want to offer these free programs so everybody can enjoy.
That is great. And that's one of the things that recreation and the recreation functions provide,
Yes.
and that is alternatives to some of these things. If we had kids, younger folks who were engaged in a lot of the
Absolutely.
things that you're talking about, they maybe
Yeah.
wouldn't have time
Yeah.
to get into altercations
Absolutely.
with each other. So all the recreation centers have weight
Yes.
rooms.
They have weight
They
rooms,
have
which are free.
Computer.
I'm going to
uh-huh.
add, they're
Yeah.
free.
Computer centers.
We also have our computer
Mhm.
centers.
Mhm.
I know that Bloomfield Recreation Center, I'm very familiar with. They have the Middle Georgia Library connected to it, which
Oh
is
yeah, that's a
free.
library.
There's a free computer
Mhm.
lab there. At Frank Johnson, we have our teen
Awesome.
communications program
Oh
there
yeah.
that is ran by my coworker, Jacor Brazil, and he's definitely there doing that, making sure teens have a voice, being able to do public speaking. And later on in life, maybe they can use those skills to get a job and go to job
Mhm.
interviews.
Mhm.
So there's so much to offer. Freedom Park is doing boxing, having conditioning training instead of going out and, God forbid, killing someone or using their
Oh yeah.
anger in
Yeah.
ways that are not profitable
Yeah.
to this community. You can have ways to condition your anger through
Mhm.
training. So
Mhm.
there's so much to offer with all of our rec centers.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
But Macon Bibb County, I know that I have served on the council and the commission
Mhm.
when we planned the comprehensive plan for recreation
Mhm.
for Macon Bibb County. And we took into account everybody, our babies,
Mhm.
the younger
Middle
folks,
agers.
the teenagers, and our seniors.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so there's something in place. There are new facilities,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
new
Like the Elaine
facilities
Huckabee
that your
Lucas
money
Yes.
paid
Yeah.
for, all
Absolutely.
of these things.
Yeah.
Nice senior
Yeah.
center
Nice.
Yes.
that the seniors, you can't put them out of there. They
No.
go
The
down
seniors
there,
are
you can't.
rocking it
Hey.
downtown. Let me
They
tell you.
do. They were on
Yes.
it seems like they were on a trip
Oh,
every
yes,
day during the
absolutely.
early voting
They sure are.
because they couldn't use the center because there was early voting going on.
Yes.
And so they were on a trip. They went to Memphis.
They
Took
sure
it back-
did.
They took it back to
Absolutely.
And they're
Yes.
always going to eat. They're
Yeah.
always going
And
shopping.
they go
They're
some
just
Fellowship.
nice
Yes,
places.
it's so
and the
important.
membership,
Yeah.
it used to be $20
Mhm.
per year. It's
It's
only
$10.
$10. We
Wow.
reduced it to $10 per year.
Wow.
And
You can't beat that.
so you
Absolutely.
can't
That
beat
ain't
it.
even
All
$1
of
a
these.
month.
It's not. And the quality of the programs that are there. I mean, and with having the elderly population, there's a lot of people that are looking for that companionship.
Yeah.
They're looking for those activities to be able to get out the house and
Socialize.
yes, to
Yeah.
socialize. And the
Among
senior
their
center provides
peers,
all
yeah.
of that. Some days I get a chance to go in there and they're in there doing two-step dances.
Oh yeah.
I see them.
They
I
had a
mean,
chorus.
absolutely.
Yeah,
They have
they used to have a
chorus. They have a
chorus.
sewing room inside.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much that they offer here at a rec centers for all ages.
And
Yes.
and I heard there's some spades players
Oh
that
yes,
you
the
can't
pinochle
whip.
players and the
You
spades
can't whip.
players. Let me tell you, they are very serious about it. You can hear them down the
Oh,
hallway screaming.
All right.
hitting
All
the
right.
table.
Gotta be
They hit
wild,
the
then.
table,
Yes.
Pastor. Yeah, there's so much going on, but people always say there's nothing to do.
Always
There's
plenty.
nothing to do. There's plenty to do.
Plenty.
Sometimes we have to just sit down and look at the list and
Mhm.
say, what can I get to today?
Yeah,
That's
'cause
why
I can't
I
get to all
missed
of it.
your program
Can't
because
get
we
to
had
all of it. You have
so
so
many
much going
things
on,
going
especially
on.
on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
there. You just got to go get it.
Absolutely.
Go get it.
But we just encourage you, please tell us about the oratorical
Yes.
contest.
I just want to start off saying, as Proverbs 29:18
All
says,
right, then.
without a vision, the people perish.
Ah.
We definitely believe that Martin Luther King Jr. not only had the innovation,
Mhm.
also he had the revelation and the
Mhm.
understanding. He had a vision.
Yes, he did.
Uh-oh.
And he
Talk.
understood where the world was
Yeah.
and where the world needed to be.
Yeah.
And with that vision, he didn't just dream. We often hear about I have a dream speech and we often quote those things, but his dream became a vision because now we're
Mhm.
living in a time.
In
We're
reality.
not all the way there,
Mhm.
but we're living in a time where we have seen the vision that he had come to
Mhm.
pass.
Mhm.
And so this oratorical program coming up, we want to give kids a chance to have a vision.
Mhm.
We want them to write about the vision. The
Mhm.
quote that we took from Dr. Martin Luther King is the difference between a dreamer and a visionary
Mhm.
is that a dreamer has his eyes open, has his eyes closed, and a visionary has his eyes open.
Ah.
And so a lot of times
I
we
love
have
it.
these dreams. We don't know how to get to the next step.
Ah.
So the theme is I have a dream, a vision, and a plan.
All right,
then.
then.
I
A
love
dream, a
Alright.
vision, and a plan.
I love it.
And the dreams are drift of our imagination, but visions are scripted efforts to make
Oh,
change.
My,
all
my.
All
right.
right. So we are
Sounds good to
really
me.
pushing
Preach a
these
little
teams.
this.
Yes.
Yeah. Sermon.
Yes, we are really pushing our middle school and high schoolers to join us this year, to really express themselves on their vision. What is your vision? And also talk about how you're going to make that vision come to pass.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we deal with obstacles in life, even in adults, we deal with obstacles in life. And I think one of the worst things that we can do is not make a plan on how to overcome that obstacle. A lot of times we sit there before that mountain and we allow that mountain to stay before us and block our vision.
Right.
So it's
right.
teaching these young kids to know that you can achieve anything you put your mind to.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have that vision, even though you may come into roadblocks and obstacles, find a plan to get around it to make it come forth.
Right.
Yes.
Now, how are we going to get these young folks? You've got 2 categories.
Mhm.
Tell us about your categories and tell us about the prizes and how folks can get their entry into the contest.
Absolutely. So we have 2 categories, and the grand prize for the high school is $300,
Okay.
and the grand prize for the middle school is $200,
Okay.
and so forth is going to be first, second, and third prize.
Mhm.
And so we want them, if possible. I know that a lot of times they have issues with registering. So on December 19th, which is actually next Monday at 5 o'clock, we're going to be meeting at the Elaine Lucas Senior Center, and I'm going to give out the address. It's 132 Willie Smokey Glover Drive in Macon, Georgia, 31201. We're going to be meeting there on December 19th for our first orientation. Once you arrive there, you'll be able to know a lot about the essay topic and some more dates that we will have rehearsal. So letting you guys know you are not alone. You're not, if you have trouble writing, if you have trouble speaking, we will be there to assist you.
So who does the student contact? They're getting ready to go out for the holidays.
Yes.
Now, so who do these students contact if they or their parents are interested and they know these young people who write, who want to enter the oratorical? And an oratorical contest is where you write and then you present what you have written based on the topic. So that's what this is all about.
Yes,
So
absolutely. You can contact me because I will be spearheading the program. And the phone number is 478-219-2091. And you'll be calling my direct line and I'll answer any questions that you have.
So what we're going to have you to do is put that in the chat.
Yes.
And anyone who's interested, if you know somebody at your church, if you know some young people in the middle school age range, that's
and it'll be great.
Right there with her helping her. So
absolutely.
They can call Dr. Butler too at 478-731-9295.
Yes.
Okay. You have a committee that's working
be
with you.
assisting.
So add those numbers when you put your information in. So if your own child is in middle school or is in high school and you know they write well, they present well, or they want to compete and you want to assist them to get ready, and you're going to provide assistance and guidance all the way.
It will be also me, the MLK Commission, also the Macon-Bibb County Parks and Recreation. You are not alone. And, just being able to get these students to come out and to hear their voice. The youth already feel that they're shut down.
Yeah.
They don't have a voice. And why not speak on something, especially from a well-known leader that was once youthful, that had a dream? Why not speak on someone that has changed this world?
So when do they have to be ready to present?
Yes. So our official date for the actual competition will be January 14th next year in 2023. But on December 19th will be our first day for orientation. And there will be 4 additional dates after that where we would do rehearsals to get there, to tweak some things, a whole month to rehearse until the competition date on the 14th.
And that's a Saturday.
Absolutely, which will be a Saturday. Yes.
Get ready.
And we invite the public also, not just the ones that are participating, but the public to come out and honor these students, and celebrate them, give them the encouragement to know that they're doing something positive.
Because usually we are there.
Yeah, we're always there.
And a few other folks are there. Last year there were a few more people than there were the years before. But I feel so bad for these young people who present these wonderful presentations, and then they're just a handful of people there to hear it. What we do is we have them usually invite them to the next commission meeting to present, and then the breakfast, the Martin Luther King breakfast, we usually have the winners there to present the winning speeches. But it's so nice to have people in the audience when these young people are presenting. It's such encouragement to them. So we want people who are concerned, who are interested. All of you who are listeners, regular listeners to Ask Elaine, we'll continue to announce this each week. And so we want you to be there to congratulate.
I never often tell this story, but someone told me I should tell it more. In the 5th grade, I won my first award at Alexander II when it was first made a magnet school. And my librarian was Reverend Dr. Eddie Smith Sr.
Oh, yeah.
And he presented me with my award in the 5th grade, oratorical, that I did. Wrote the speech and said it in our cafeteria. And that stuck with me the rest of my life when I was standing to speak. And now I preach. So you just never know. It might influence a child.
Absolutely. Experiences make a big difference. Absolutely.
Those experiences as a child go on into our adulthood.
Exactly right. And we want as many positive ones as possible. So we're going to have this information here in the chat. Those of you who are associated with a church or another organization, would you please share this program and share the information so that we can have really good participation. We want all of our young people who are interested to participate in this. And this is one of the events in honor of the life and works of Dr. King. So if you are interested, we do want to hear from you. Let's make sure we have this opportunity made available to our young people. Keep in mind, too, that Dr. King, the King Board seeks to honor Dr. King's life and works the year round. Early January, we will have the laying of the wreath in Rosa Parks Square. We will have the usual activities that are going on. They've been gone for several years. COVID changed our way of doing a lot of things. And by the way, COVID is back. So I would suggest to you that you be very, very careful in crowds. Start wearing your mask again if you feel uncomfortable around folks, because not only do you have COVID, but you've got the flu, you've got RSV. I think monkeypox came in. I don't know, but anyway, there are so many different things out there. And so we need to go back to what we were doing. That's the mask, the hand washing, being very careful around folks, social distancing.
People you're not around every day.
Yeah. So let's go back to being careful because COVID is still killing people. Now we're going to turn. Thank you so much. You hang in here.
Yes, thank you.
And we want to welcome you to that job. We can tell that you're just an asset to make them big. We're so happy to have you. So happy.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to working with you on some other events, not just the oratorical.
Yes.
Because, all right, we're going to turn to Pastor Lisa Watson, who is going to talk about the Evangelical Ministers Alliance and the different events that they sponsor annually. They have been our organization of the year a number of times because they do sponsor so many different events. So we're going to turn it over to you, Pastor, to talk about the events that are planned. And the march is back.
Yes, we're back, and we are saying we're back, and we're going to be bigger.
Pull that mic
we're going to be bigger and better. Back bigger and better That's our hope and our goal to come back bigger and better. COVID took us down for a couple of years, but we're coming back. And our theme is march on. And a lot of
All
people
right
say,
now.
we're going to
Like
march
that.
on
I
until
like
victory
that.
is won. And then on January the 1st, as we kick everything off with Emancipation Service on January 1, our theme is free to go. And emancipation, that's what it was about. Proclamation of our freedom from slavery. So our theme for Emancipation January 1 is free to go. And one of the ministers of the EMA is slated to preach, and that'll be a very brief service. Reverend Everett Slay will be the preacher that day, and it'll be at 6 o'clock. It'll be at Unity Baptist Church in East Macon, down on Millerfield Road. The host pastor,
Pastor
Reverend
Dawson.
Edward Dawson.
Yeah.
And Unity will lead us in praise, and we'll have our brief preliminaries, and then Reverend Slay will preach a brief message. We'll have, hopefully, our emancipation strip will be read this year by someone from the Tubman Museum. Dr. Butler is confirming that now. So that's our last piece of that program to confirm. We're looking forward to Emancipation kicking us off on January 1.
And let's say that the Emancipation Proclamation program is always January 1st.
Right, and it's normally at noon, but
Normally
because it
at
comes
12
on a
noon.
Sunday this year, January 1 comes on a Sunday this year, and we'll all be in our regular church services at noon. So we'll be having it at 6.
I
It'll be
remember
at 6.
years ago when we had the Emancipation
Just come on the radio.
Proclamation, people would be dressed up.
Oh, yeah.
They would. I remember this lady named Miss Dickey, who was married to Reverend Dickey. She would come and she would be just dressed so elegantly. And all of these ladies, Miss McKay and all of these ladies who would come, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
We have forgotten what's important.
Right.
The Emancipation Proclamation, we're not free yet, y'all.
No.
But at least this is a symbol
That's right.
of our freedom.
And
so
the
we need to get back to
EMA has also voted to not only celebrate the Emancipation Proclamation of proclaiming our freedom from slavery, but to come back, and we're going to start working with Juneteenth as well.
Oh, yes.
So this year you'll be seeing the EMA active.
It is
in
a
that
national holiday now,
that's
too.
right. So we'll be doing some work later in the year.
So when you get that day off,
yeah,
you do something with it. It's not
right.
just to have the cookout.
That's right.
It really has a meaning, and it would not be a national holiday, as is Dr. King's birthday, if there weren't something important.
Right. And people fought hard to get that a national holiday.
Oh, yes.
Stevie Wonder wrote the song that we sang on Martin Luther King Day. But a lot of people worked hard to get that holiday. And we need to, if no other reason, people ask, why do we march? People worked hard for us to be able to march and keep this dream alive. And so we should remember that sacrifice. So on January 1st, we kick off Emancipation. That's our very first event of the year. January 1st, Emancipation Service at Unity on Millerfield Road, host Pastor Reverend Edward Dawson. Then I'm excited because you just gave me part of my message that I'll be preaching for living the dream in worship. Living the dream.
That's right.
And I heard what you said about a dream and a vision, and about my eyes being closed when I dream and open when I have a vision. I'm so excited that I am the preacher.
A lot of people got that, title.
I am the preacher for Living the Dream in Worship this year. It'll be on January the 15th. That's the Sunday before we march on Dr. King's birthday, Monday, holiday. That 15th, at 6 p.m., we'll be at Greens Tabernacle Baptist Church on Bloomfield Road. Our host church will be Reverend Clifford Little and Greens Tabernacle, and Pastor Lisa Watson will be the keynote speaker. And I'm going to be talking about that dream and that vision.
Yes.
If the Lord so see fit. So I want everybody to come out and help the preacher. Come holler at Sister Preacher, because I'm going to need you. On January 15th, Living the Dream in Worship. And then that Monday, January 16th, we march. We march from all over the city, north, east, west, and south. We spell news. N for north, E for east, W for west, S for south. And we're coming from all points of the city. Right now, as you know, some of our previous march captains are older and they've gotten ill, and some of them will not be able to lead the march this year. So I'll be reaching out to some new young preachers to bring the march in from the north side and from the east side. And then Dr. Butler and I'll still be bringing it in from the south side at Memorial Gym. Pastor Clifford Little and Pastor Leon Ward will be bringing it in from the west. But I will be soliciting help from some younger preachers to help bring in the march from the north. So any that hear my voice
I'll
now,
have my scooter coming from
right,
the east side.
all right. Well,
my
we'll be marching from all 4 points at 11 o'clock every march from the recreation centers. From the north, we come from Booker T. Washington Rec Center. From the east, we come from Rosa Jackson. From the west, we come from Frank Johnson, and from the south, we come from Memorial Gym. All marches at 11 o'clock march, and we all culminate at the steps of our government center. Some still call it City Hall, where our president of the EMA, which is our current president, is Laura Cherry. Minister Laura Cherry will greet us, and then the mayor of our city always greets us. So Mayor Lester Miller will greet us, and then we will go up the street to the historic Stewart Chapel AME Church,
where Dr. King spoke.
Yes.
It was one of the few churches in Macon
where he spoke.
where Dr.King spoke.
Right, and we'll go up, and that'll be our culminating service, our memorial church climax and celebration, and our host will be Pastor Luvonia Franklin, and that I believe you know him.
Yeah,
and we'll you know that church.
Yeah,
it's on Forsyth Street.
I remember.
I believe it's 887, ain't it?
887.
That's it. And we'll be there, climax and all of that on the day we march. We're going up to the church at 12:30, and the keynote speaker will be Reverend James Mann on that day.
Yeah,
Reverend James Mann.
And let's keep in mind that if there are fraternities, sororities, any other organizations who wish to provide refreshments for the marchers, if you want to set up a table or whatever at City Hall or at Stewart Chapel, then you are invited to do that.
They're free to cook out there in the parking lot, hot dogs,
you can do that
give it away as well.
That for, it's not like at the polling place where you can't do
you can
food
give away
or drink.
your water,
would like to have something for the folks there. So I know Omega Psi Phi usually does something. Chocolate. Alpha Phi Alpha usually does it. Delta Sigma Theta, aka the other Sigma Gamma Rho. And I know I left somebody out.
Well, Dr. King's organization is
Alpha Phi.
They're doing the hot chocolate. They usually do the hot chocolate.
So if you want to provide anything, make contact with any of us. Let us know so that we can help with making sure that there's a place that people know where you'll be where we're going to be. And you can set up.
On Martin Luther King Day, they sit up over in the Rosa Park. When we march, they're over in the Rosa Park, and they're giving out hot chocolate after the marchers come into City Hall. And we, like you said, we want people up at Stewart Chapel giving out water and drinks, and after everybody, because people are hungry, they got up early marching. So if you can give away free hot dogs, some years we have done it ourselves. Me and Dr. Butler gave away hot dogs and hamburgers. So anybody that wants to do something like that on the outside, we would welcome that. So just call us at 478-444-1189.
Okay, we're gonna add that
and
number.
Dr. Butler there, she'll put it in the chat for us too. And we'll be glad to have you.
Oh yeah, Mr. Cotton says he's going to mention it to the Masons.
We love
that would be wonderful. All of these organizations are looking for ways to interact.
We would love it
on these events that are already planned. We all don't need to plan.
No, we need to come together on that day.
Things that we can join together.
And I want to say that because that day, Martin Luther King Day, we are so excited because M.A. Evans, they always bring the youth group to perform at the church. This year we have Destined for Greatness coming. The older youth will be there, and they'll be singing.
Last year at City Hall. They were wonderful.
David and Teresa Little group, and we're excited about that. The older youth will be there with us, as well as M.A. Evans the smaller kids will be there. So we're excited about our youth presence in MLK celebration
Okay.
this year.
Now, there are a lot of events. You've just highlighted a few of them. The Martin Luther King board wants to do a gospel,
Right.
A youth gospel
Mhm.
explosion,
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
Carlton Kitchens, you need to be listening and
Yes,
letting
he's
yeah,
listening.
listen. And we're hoping to do that in February during Black History Month.
Yes.
We are looking for a location to have it.
Yes.
Needs to be a large venue because we expect to have lots of
That's
youth
right.
entertainers and lots of people attending. This will be in honor of Dr. King and will be co-sponsored by all of the organizations, but endorsed by the Martin Luther
MLK
King
board.
board. And we want to have all of these different groups. It's going to be groups representing all of the different racial, ethnic, cultural, whatever we
Right.
have in Macon, because
Right.
you'd be surprised who lives in Macon now. You don't have just
A
white
melting
folks
pot.
and black folks.
It's a
Absolutely.
You
melting pot.
have
We
folks
have a melting
from
pot.
We sure do.
you have
Absolutely.
Congolese citizens
Yeah.
who
Mhm.
are here. You have Hispanics
You
who
do.
live here. You have Asian. You have Oriental. You
do.
have some of everybody, all kinds of cultural groups
Yes.
living in Macon, Georgia. And so what we're going to try and do is have representation
Wonderful.
from all of these different racial and ethnic groups that are in Macon. So we open our eyes
That's it.
to who we
Yes.
live
That's it.
among.
That's it.
We've got to realize, and that is the national problem. They have got to realize
Mhm.
that this country
Big old
is
country.
black and brown.
Yes.
It's
Big-
no longer
Just, that's
majority
right.
white.
That's
It
right.
passed that threshold
It's
a
a big.
long time ago.
Yes.
The world is black and brown.
Okay.
All you got to do is look at these college basketball
And
teams.
you'll know it.
Everybody's beige.
You'll
Yes.
know it.
Everybody's
Yes.
beige.
Yeah.
So, folks got to get over
They just,
themselves.
yeah, they're gonna have
And
to
they
come
got to
on with the come
realize the
on.
Yes.
world is changing, and politics
Oh,
have
yeah.
got to change too. But back to Martin Luther King. Where can we find all of this information? Because we're going to run out of
I
time.
know it's on your
and we
Macon
will.
Bib site. It's,
It is on the
and
Macon
there's
Bib
MLK
site.
a icon there that you can hit on and get all the information there. And then, like I said, you can call us at 478-444-1189. And you can go on my Facebook page, Lisa Watson on Facebook, and follow us there. It's also on Commissioner Lucas' Facebook page. And just before we run out of time, I do want to invite everybody to be a part of our winter break MVP camp that we're having for kids ages 4 and 12 and up. We have 3 groups of kids, ages 4 to 7, ages 8 to 11, and 12 and up. And we're going to be talking about bullying, conflict resolution, and history while our kids are out of school for the Christmas and New Year break. December 28th and 29th, we'll be sponsoring a winter break MVP, Macon Violence Prevention.
Okay, let's make
So-
sure we include that in the
And-
chat
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And those of you who are on Facebook Live or who are listening, please go to either the Glory Facebook page or go to any of our
Mhm.
Facebook
Absolutely.
page and please share
Yes.
this program and so
all
that
our
you
flyers,
can see
just fly,
all of
share,
the
share all the
things.
flyers you see.
All
and
of
they have the
these things,
information.
we need you to share it far and wide because we want everybody to know. We know everybody doesn't
right.
know all of these things that are going on.
That's right.
People tell me all the time, I didn't know all of that
Yeah.
was happening.
Yeah.
So we're glad to provide this
Get the word out.
information. So you've got to help us to get the word out.
Yeah.
Please share this
Please.
program and please put a special note on there to your friends that they need to watch this, they need to pull the information off, and they need
Yes.
to help us by attending
Yes.
these different
Yes.
programs.
Yes.
So now, if there's anybody who needs any additional information, you've got the contact information here. that's already been posted.
I see they
Your
putting it in the
pastor,
chat. Yeah.
your
The
contact
co-pastors, they putting it in
information.
there.
And you can always go to Macon Bibb's website,
Mhm.
and you will have a list of all of the events that are happening by month.
Right.
And the ML King board makes sure that we change each month to list all of the
Update the
events.
calendar.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, the Evangelical Ministers Alliance, Macon Bibb Parks and Rec are all a part. The Mentors Project
Yes.
with June O'Neill
Right.
are all a part. We have
Great
the
partners.
Tublin Museum.
Great partners.
And we have the Douglas Theater. All of those different entities that are a part of what we are doing. Dr. Thomas Duval is
Right.
also associated with us, and he has a coloring and activity book that we're going to be distributing. It's going to be available to our young folks.
Yes, we have to plug for them that they are working with the bicentennial celebration of
Right, the
Macon Bibb,
200th
and
anniversary.
they have a program coming out where we're going to do so much history, put so much history out that so many people don't know about Macon Bibb, so much unknown history, but they're doing it and they're recording it. Going to be on YouTube where you can go back and watch it and share it with the young folk and the older people. Musical histories, business histories, educational history about Macon. So much has happened in Macon. A lot of people just don't know our rich history. But as we celebrate these 200 years, they are really compiling. And I was happy to be a part of the 20 of the 100 businesses featured. And it was awesome. We were being recorded at Mercer's studio. And it's just amazing how they are putting it together to share this history of Macon Bibb.
Well, we're going to make sure, as your talking information program, we're going to make sure, and hello, Miss Barry, we're glad you joined us. We're going to make sure that as much information as possible, we're going to share with you. So what you've got to do is to tune in every Wednesday at 3
Ask Elaine.
For Ask Elaine, so that you will get this information. You'll always find out something new. We want to encourage you. Let me take this off. We want to encourage you to get the latest edition, the December edition of the Middle Georgia Informer. Miss Cornelia Walker collaborates with us.
Yes.
We support her. She supports us.
Yeah.
Hello, Sharon Wolfall. Good to have you
She's
on.
an MLK drum major, Miss Walker.
Okay, okay. We want to encourage you to get a copy. We do have some at EL High School Academy. And we want you to get a copy of it because it has a lot of good information in it. And if you're interested in different things that are happening through Macon Bibb's government, you can go to Macon Bibb County, Macon Bibb County, the Facebook page. There's all kinds of different events that are listed there. And the last thing I want to tell you before we run out of time, on this past Friday, there was the mayor's sneaker ball.
Yeah.
And it was to launch the 200th anniversary of Macon Bibb County. It was well attended, good music, good food, just so much going on there. So next year you'll want to attend and wear your favorite sneakers and your dressy stuff. It was just a fun
I saw my
event.
senator out there. He was
The
sharp.
senator was
The
there.
senator was sharp.
All that jazz, which is the major fundraiser for the Tubman, is coming up in January, and so we got to have somebody, maybe Harold Young from the Tubman, to come and talk about that major. Sheila E. is going to be the last year. You had Smokey Robinson, and Smokey did it. He did it.
And they were sold out.
Sold out. So
listen,
listen, we're just so happy. You hear Ask Elaine, the theme song. Our two special guests today have been Miss Natalie Allen with Macon Bibbs,
Our
Parks and
fast.
Recreation, and Pastor Lisa Watson, and yours truly, your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll look to see you again next Wednesday. It won't be Christmas yet,
It
will it?
won't be
We'll
Christmas
get a
yet.
chance to wish you Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Very
Next,
early Christmas.
next. But look, remember, there are some people who are in nursing homes, who are in the hospital, who have nobody. So you be that person.
That's it.
Please be that person.
Share love.
Share
Absolutely.
love.
Give love on
So,
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
My
right.
guest, and thank you so much. We'll see you again next Wednesday for another edition of Ask Elaine.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM,